I'll see to it.
I say we rest more.
So there's a big fight coming up after we go up this elevator, so I'm going to take some potions. I think the most important one is the fact that you take a strength potion of some kind. So I haven't really been using the either the cloud or the storm giant potions that much. The storm giant one gives you 24 strength, which I will definitely use at the end of Siege of Dragonspear. But aside from that, it just makes stuff a lot quicker, especially not having to use your haste spell, but using an oil speed as well, because it lasts for an hour instead of the haste spell, which is a lot less of a duration. So I summon here, and this is probably where I use the majority of the arrows of detonations I have left, or quite a lot of them at least. I just can't try and kite mostly here, but aside from that, as soon as you buff yourself, really it becomes really hard for any enemies to really hit you. Even around this level cap, it's extremely hard for any enemy to stand up to like a couple rounds of attacks. So we're going over here. I think I used the Wand of Paralyzation here, or I might just wail on Heffernan, and I don't exactly remember what I did in the recorded footage. It looks like I just go in and don't even care. So the main thing is to make the Heffernan retreat, so you could probably do that in a couple rounds before he puts his protections up, and then kill the other two mages here. One of them puts up a fire shield, so I probably just wait until that actually goes down, or use I probably should have used the spelling arrow, but I just go ahead and just kill this mage. And then it uses Sanctuary, so I just chill for a bit. So after you attack anyone on this floor, or you try and poison some of the supplies, you'll get into this big fight, and then more enemies will come in as reinforcements. And unfortunately, it does appear to have cure spells here. That's just one of the more annoying things enemies do, is put up Sanctuary and then heal themselves. So yeah, these golems will be enemies now, and pretty much everything that was here before will be an enemy, and there will be more enemies coming up the stairs. So definitely a good place to use AoE here. I'd say this is probably one of the more difficult fights in Siege of Dragonspear if you aren't going to cheese it with like potions or spells or stuff like that. Because you just take so much damage from all these enemies if you don't kill them really quickly. But after this, we are pretty much done with chapter 10. I mean, after this we need to do a bit of the coalition camp, go back there and do the fights there, but aside from picking up another ring from the castle, Dragonspear Castle, which we'll do relatively quickly, that's pretty much it for the fights here. One thing that you're going to want to make sure you do is you use an invisibility potion when you're running out of this area, because if you don't, someone will spot you and everyone will turn hostile on the last, or the underground river passages going in here. I don't think poisoning the water and the food are actually necessary, but I don't actually know what it does, because it seems to make the enemies a lot weaker in the latter part of the game, but I'm not sure what it actually does, as I frantically look for where it actually is. So it's over here. So yeah, that's pretty much all we need to do here. So I go and grab an invisibility potion and use that on the way out. I think you could probably fight your way out, but it's just a lot less hassle if you just go invisible and just forget about it.
Oh, that makes
Don't know how these ogres actually see me when I'm invisible, but whatever, I guess.
I hope this is worth it. I hope this is worth it.
So I go around handing in these quests that I did, but I don't think there's really any reason for me to do this. I get another ring of fire resistance, which is pretty much useless to us by this point. You can stack either potions or scrolls of fire resistance to become immune, or you can use protection from fire, the level 3 spell, which we're gonna use the scrolls on the final boss, so it's not gonna really be a problem in terms of fire resist. So what I'm doing now is I'm heading over to get to the castle area, and I'm just gonna skip a bunch of these mobs here. There's a lot of enemies here, like a lot of these packs. These can actually stun you, those beetles, which can easily kill you. I don't know if you get a save for it or not, but I think they can quite easily kill you if they stun you. And then there's this big group. I'm just not going to bother with that. And just head to the castle. So this castle doesn't have too much that I'm interested in specifically. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get what I want and then end the chapter basically. And for some reason I helped Ski here, but honestly, there's really no point in doing this. I think she survives anyway, so like, yeah. No real point in doing this, but I decided to do it anyway.
What is this? I'm spying on Dragon. There's nothing to do. You know, when my dad, everyone expects me to sit safely by the fire and polish my boots. Stupid. But I'll go back to camp. For now.
Treacherous cow!
So first thing we're going to pick up is the uniform. I think we need to talk to one of the NPCs over here, and that NPC will get us a really good ring for the latter part of the game.
Try it, Corinth.
But what we also do is we do the trial here.
Alright, listen up.
I go through a bit of the dialogue options here, but basically we want to accuse Corinth so that we get his drops. It's really not that important because what he drops is basically a composite bow +2, but it also has an armor class bonus of 1 on it, and it has a special effect where if you crit with the bow, you will get a luck spell for so many rounds. Honestly, it's probably not even worth getting because I'm pretty much never going to use the bow again at this point, but I figured I'd get it as well because it's a really good bow. But the composite bow +2 is really good of course as well, so either works.
Get over here!
I knew it. Let justice be done.
A regrettable but necessary end to this grim business. There is a lesson here, friends. Learn it well. I'll not tolerate traitors in our ranks. Go. Reflect on what you've seen and prepare to see more of it. Soon we...
You have been chosen not be... I don't... I'm Danild, the morale officer. Well met, Hensler. Let me ask you something. What do you know about our... Well, after you've talked to some of the others, return here...
So for this quest you just need to talk to a few people around the camp. I can't remember exactly who it is, so I spend some time like walking around talking to people. But one of the things that's nice is you get a ring that stacks with other protection items like Amulet of Protection that gives you +1 AC, but against demons you get +3 AC. So it is really good. It gives you saving throws as well as AC as well, I believe. So you just need to talk to 2 people, I think, that actually have dialogue options for the quest, and then come back, and then you get the ring for free if you just answer, I think, the first option for all of them. Yeah.
Well done. Except for me,
So this ring here, and I can pretty much dump that. So yeah, saving throws and armor class, demons and devils. So when I don't have the Ring of Regeneration on, that's pretty much going to be on for the rest of the game. So I think those are the 2 best rings you can get from Siege of Dragonspear, really, as a physical character, physical damage. And when you head back to the camp, you need to go to Dead End Pass, and then it will start the last part of this this chapter. So yeah, this is Corin's bow I was talking about. It's just a straight upgrade to the composite longbow +2, but not a major one.
An army marches on its stomach. I have many fine wares.
If I I only intended,
Listen to me.
Calm yourself.
If it'll...
It pains me to say it, but Netherlock, may Timora favor us. Well, let's get you... To win a war, I am gratified to hear it. You can expect me to hold you to that promise before this is done.
I'll see to it.
The Crusader I know we've had our find Andrus fast as you
We
can.
just need to head to the south part of the camp here, and then we get 4 waves of enemies. They can be pretty annoying. I found especially the first wave with these trolls is especially annoying, because obviously you've got to kill them with fire or acid.
When they break through, I'll let you know.
And you get some people to help you, and you can pick whatever group that you want. So you can get the dwarves to help you on one of the
Talk to me again.
stages as well.
I'm going to stay here and ward these explosive barrels. When you've dealt with the immediate threat, or if you can't defeat the...
Of course, you're going to see me just completely use arrows of detonation once again. Nothing really special here. So it does make it a lot easier, obviously, if you need to do fire damage, if you have AoE fire. But just the fact that you're in an enclosed space, and I don't think you can actually back up that far without losing, in quotes. But pretty much all the archers died. Probably because I was hitting them with friendly fire too.
Wizards! Damn it all. I can't leave these barrels without putting the entire camp at risk. You've got to take a squad and keep them away from here.
And once again, we're going to have our old friend here. I love these arrows, they're so good. Especially against mages, just look at that. Just clears them out so easily. Yeah, I think the game's pretty much over by now. I do keep on the regeneration ring just in case I take damage, but that was literally just face roll right there.
You need to stop those crusaders from reaching us. Take one of the squads, leave
I take the
others here to
dwarfs
watch
for
my back.
this part, but these are just a bunch of fighters and some clerics, I think. So they go down pretty easily as well. If you're running low on arrow of detonation charges by now, you probably can just go up and melee these guys. I can't imagine they'd be too hard as long as you have a decent AC. So they aren't hitting you every round or something like that.
The center lane is clear. Head straight north and finish off their remaining warriors. Go now and win this battle for us.
For some reason I couldn't really find the enemies here, or at least most of them. There is one that I killed right there that I think puts like insect plague on you, which can be nasty, just because it does constant damage. Insect plague is mainly just annoying because it interrupts your spell casting. It only does like 1 damage per tick. But I do take a decent amount of damage, I think, from my backstab. And unfortunately, it just always does good damage. And yeah, the boss is up here for some reason. Usually, I think he spawns a bit more south, but he's nothing too scary. Just a physical fighter at this point. I think he just gets backstabbed to death by the NPCs too. Yeah, it doesn't even last that long. So after we've done that, we pretty much need to do the assault on Dragonspear Castle, and then we're in the final stretches of the game.
Good work. The Crusade's falling back into Dragonspear. We'll never have a better chance of finishing this than we do now. Get what you need from the camp and rendezvous with the siege commanders at Dragonspear's gates.
Hold! I'm heartened. That makes no difference. That explains why the enemy seems so sluggish. Good work with the explosives. Now, watch as the walls of Dragonspear fall before us.
So I'm not going to take very long to go through this because I think NPCs can die if you take too long. But one of the things that I'm going to want is someone's paralyzation to make this really easy. Basically all you need to do is go up to the north here and you'll need to fight Ashatil, who spawns in as soon as you get here. And she can be annoying because when she gets to low health she casts Sanctuary and then heals herself. But if she's stunned, and unfortunately I missed the stun the first round, she can't do anything and she's a free kill, which is fun. So unfortunately I didn't stun her the first time, otherwise she wouldn't be able to Iron Skin or whatever she is, but she dies extremely quickly regardless. So I do think NPCs can die if you take too long, which is why I didn't really want to mess about with the actual fight there. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do the Messina quest in order to get the +3 Morning Star now. The enemies that you need to kill for this are actually quite tough, so I am going to use pre-buffing, and I'm like looking around trying to find the NPC. I actually just walked right past her. Yep, I'm just like looking around, have no idea. So you need to give her the amulet that you found. I think you can do it before this stage. Also, I just take all those straps now because why not? I'm gonna need to walk through there anyway. And I go through the cutscene, just in case that's required, but I honestly just walk past her completely.
Heed my words. Have none of them join me. You could have walked with me in the light, but you chose blood and darkness. You will pay for that.
So after I walk around for a bit more, I eventually find who I'm looking for. There we go. So you just need to rescue her father. He's up at the top of this area, but there is like 6 or 7 NPCs that are actually quite difficult. So I end up using one of the Cloud Giant Strength potions I have, and I think an Oil Speed too, because I just want to kill them completely. And I use some pre-buffing as well, so I do like Stone Skin, Mirror Image, Improved Invisibility I think. Because they can actually be really tough. There's one particular NPC that will backstab you for 5 times damage, which can do about like 50 damage. And she uses potions of invisibility, so she can repeatedly do it as well, which is always fun. So yeah, if you have any sort of like spells in order to buff, I would suggest using them, but you can completely skip this encounter if you don't need what I'm going for, which was the +3 Morning Star. Because yeah, pre-buffing like this, like taking off your armor and then putting it back on after you buffed, is a little cheap, but honestly I haven't found an easier way to do that because these enemies are just kind of annoying. Arrows of detonation still work on them quite well, if you have any left, because I'm getting pretty low on them now. But that's okay. Yeah, it's this enemy here, Chloe. She backstabs you for a lot of damage, so if you have stone skin up, it makes it a lot easier. Or mirror image as well. But as soon as we pre-buff, it becomes a pretty easy fight in general. Just because they can't get through the stone skins and the mirror image to actually hit me, so it becomes a lot easier. And my EC is pretty ridiculous too. That looked like a special longsword to me, but I believe it's just a +2. And then here we just need to kill this last cleric, I believe. But she goes down really quickly. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to do here. I pick up a cloak there. I think it's the Gargoyle cloak. But I'm never going to take off the cloak of Baldur on because it's just so good while you can have it. So all you need to do is talk to the NPC over here and then go back, and then you get the +3 Morning Star. Like I said, this wasn't here when Siege of Dragonspear was released. I believe it was added in later. Unfortunately, I can't actually identify it right now because I don't have the glasses use. So I go ahead and identify it, and then that's pretty much the end of the episode for now. And when we pick up, we'll pretty much be finishing Siege of Dragonspear.
Many fine wares.
So before we go, we'll take a look at it. It's really good. Immunity to fatigue and 10% chance of casting chant centered on the wielder on each hit. +3 Morning Star. The chant is pretty much useless because we have a permanent chant, but it's a decent weapon. And it's a +3 weapon, which means it can hit the final boss. So yeah.